Good morning, everyone. My name's Curtis. This is probably take number 4. I don't know. I'm off of my game today. But the topic, do I believe there is a presence of God in today's government? Yeah, I do. To answer that question, I do believe there is a presence of God in government, but I also believe there's a presence of evil. You have to know that not everyone believes in God in government. I'm not even saying that these individuals are bad or even have moral issues. Not everyone was raised with religious backgrounds to even know God. That might just mean they are struggling with finding the truth based off information they currently have. I mean, that's always a possibility, right? It could be several things. I believe certain individuals are appointed to government positions because of God's presence. I mean, let's look at the Constitution. I mean, the U.S. Constitution does not mention God, anywhere. But most states reference God or the divine in their Constitution. Now, just because the Constitution doesn't mention God doesn't mean his presence isn't there. God has always had a presence in government based off how the articles are written in the Constitution. God's words in the Bible talk about protecting everyone from sinful acts, preserving order, and promoting peace. And that's what the Constitution illustrates. I believe the foundation of government was built on the presence of God. Otherwise, the United States would probably be in chaos. Not the world. I mean, they have different laws and stuff like that in their government that the United States doesn't necessarily agree with. Let's look at Romans 13. Paul said, "Be subject to the government's authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God." And that means that they are appointed authority. They were the appointed authority by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. Now, a lot of times people get confused with the separation of church and state and all that, and taking, religion out of schools and all that. That doesn't mean that God's presence is taken away. God's presence is always there. And I can understand why they argue that, because they don't really know how the law is breaking down. Like, for instance, the separation of church and state is a whole different topic, and I believe that's where many came to be confused. That's on the lines of removing the government's ability to give preferential treatment to one's religion or religion in general. Separation of church and state promotes religious pluralism and allows all Americans to practice their deeply held beliefs in private and public. Now, you can pray anytime you want to. So that's basically not taking the presence of God out of the equation. You can practice your religion, it's the freedoms that you have, and that are binded by the Constitution. And they're all in place, of course, to protect you, from stuff like that. So, there's always laws that they're trying to pass that seem like they're, focusing on taking God's presence or God out of everything, but it's not necessarily true. And one thing to remember, if you feel that way, then you got to think of it on the lines of, there will always be changes in government that we might not agree with. The most important thing is to affirm what you believe. Some of the laws passed in this day and age completely go against what I believe. And it's up to us to stand and be heard. It shows character when you're willing to fight for your beliefs, right? All right, have a good day. My name's Curtis. Thank you.